Hello there, very good evening. Welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. We start off by taking a look at your headlines for tonight.
Heavy rains cause reservoirs to overflow, prompting flood and landslide warnings in 5 districts. That height triggers price surge across essentials, sparking opposition outcry. Central bank policy continuity for financial and economic stability. Opposition leader vows to punish those who ruin the economy in future government. Sri Lankan Airlines privatization deadline extended again.
Taking a look at those stories in detail now, the Met Department has issued a weather advisory predicting scattered thunder showers across the eastern and Uva provinces. Rainfall can be expected in the northern, north-central provinces as well as the Mathale, Nuwara Eliya and Hambantota districts.
Now, while the rain brings relief to the parched land, it also raises concerns about potential flooding as many of the island's main reservoirs are currently overflowing.
In a dramatic turn of events, 8 major reservoirs across Sri Lanka overflowed due to heavy rains. And this spillage of water is reported from the reservoir system located on either end of the central hills of Sri Lanka. Now, water from higher reservoirs like Kotmale, fed by central mountains rainfall, is released to Polgolla, and that is a central hub. From Polgolla, the water is divided, and one stream flows towards Anuradhapura, supplying essential water to the Mahaveli farmlands via Ukuwela and Bovathanna, where agriculture is paramount. However, this route's power generation capacity is limited to 88 megawatts. Accordingly, the water released in that direction is resulting in the spillage reported from Kandalama Vaver, Kala Vaver, Nachaduwa Vaver and the Nuwara Vaver. Now, when water is released towards the Victoria Reservoir from Polgolla in Kandy, its journey takes a new significance, unlocking the potential for 380 megawatts of hydropower. This water flows down to the Ulhitia and Rakia reservoirs, and the water released in that direction are resulting in the spillage at Victoria, Randenia, Rantambe and the Madroya reservoirs. All sluice gates of the Parakrama Samudra were cracked open to 2 feet early this morning, sending torrents of water surging into the Mahaveli River via the Aban River. This surge of water led to the temporary closure of the vital Polanaru-Batiklo road as rising river levels of the Mahaveli River below the Parakrama Samudra flooded the Gallal area in Manampitia. The mighty Kalaveva Reservoir is reaching its limits, forcing the opening of its 2 sluice gates at a substantial 14 feet each. This unleashed a torrent of water, releasing 13,200 cubic feet per second into the rushing Kala Oya. The consequences were immediate. 2 sections of the crucial Kalaveva Tamuttegama road were completely submerged, prompting its closure near the reservoir entrance this afternoon. The Kandalama Vaver has reached a spill level and it has had an impact on vehicular movement in Dambulla. The Ulhitia Ratkinda Mahaveli Great Reservoir reached its limit yesterday, forcing the dramatic opening of all 7 sluice gates. The Hobariava Ratkinda main road, a vital artery for the region, fell victim to the rising water levels. Following heavy rainfall, the Kunduwatawana Reservoir in Ampara reached capacity, prompting the opening of 2 sluice gates. Newsfirst correspondents confirmed that the increased water flow resulted in flooding in several low-lying areas surrounding the reservoir. In a dramatic turn of events, all sluice gates of the Kantale Reservoir were opened early this morning, releasing a torrent of water into the Wanala. 4 spill gates of the Inginimitia Reservoir were also opened this morning.
All of the reservoirs have reached maximum capacity. The reason for such a massive increase in the water at the reservoirs is the fact that rainfall was scattered across many of these areas. A large quantity of water was received in 2021. In 2021, a total of 247 million cubic meters was released through the sluice gate of the Rantambe Reservoir. Right now, 262 million cubic meters have been released through the sluice gate of the Rantambe Reservoir. 2,176 million cubic meters of water has reached the Polgolla Anicut from the Mahaveli Reservoir this year. In 2021, 3,072 million cubic meters of water had reached the Anicut. It is a figure higher than 2023. I must state that there is a certain level of danger since the reservoirs are full and the spill gates are open and the water is flowing across the river at a rapid pace. Do not attempt to bathe in these rivers or reservoirs.
Many roads and lands in the Porthi Patravella Valley area in Bataclo were inundated following heavy rainfall. Several villages in the Sitandi area in Bataclo were also flooded.
The northeast monsoon officially kicked in and we expect increased rainfall in the northeastern provinces. Rainfall can also be expected in the Gaul and Mathura districts. There is a wavy nature in the rainfall. This is temporary and usual when the northeast monsoon kicks in. Rainfall can be expected in the eastern slopes of the Central Hills, the Uva and northwestern provinces and the north and east. The western and Sabaragamu provinces will experience limited rainfall during this period. However, this is an unusual rainfall. A reduction in rainfall can be experienced next year in the western, Sabaragamu and southern provinces.
Of course, since it's the festive season, many people must be traveling out on trips and other excursions, and it is important to note that given the heavy rainfall that Sri Lanka is experiencing, rivers, reservoirs and other water bodies may pose a risk to your life if you so choose to go and have a bath or engage in any other activity in and around these reservoirs and rivers. The water tides could get rough at several times, as was advised by authorities, and we would like to stress once again to take good care and refrain from bathing in these rivers and reservoirs when you go out during the festive season. Now, moving on in more local news, in the wake of the announced value-added tax increase set to take effect from the 1st of January 2024, several groups have expressed their discontent with the government's economic measures and the potential impact that these measures could have on the entire citizenry of the country.
Sri Lanka's value-added tax will undergo a significant change in the new year, as the rate is set to increase from 15% to 18% effective from the 1st of January 2024. Previously exempt items like diesel, petrol and liquefied petroleum gas will now be subject to VAT. However, the existing 7.5% Ports and Aviation Development Levy on these products will be scrapped. Consequently, the overall tax burden on diesel and petrol will be 10.5%. However, liquefied petroleum gas or cooking gas will see a net increase as the 18% VAT replaces the current 2.5% Port and Aviation Development Levy, pushing the overall tax burden to 15.5%. A list of VAT-exempt goods has been made public, and this includes electricity, wheat and wheat flour, baby formula, medicines and pharmaceutical ingredients, crude oil, kerosene, aviation fuel, agricultural seeds and plants, animal feed, textile yarn and public passenger transport services. Locally produced handloom textiles, rice flour, unprocessed agricultural and fish products remain outside the VAT purview as well.
While the new value-added tax rates are only scheduled to take effect on the 1st of January 2024, the National Consumer Front has voiced its concerns regarding recent price hikes observed in the market for certain goods.
Consumers across Sri Lanka are expressing alarm over the sharp price increases of essential goods ahead of the VAT increase. At the same time, shortages have also been created. In the absence of samba rice, the restaurants are facing closures. In addition, there are also shortages of samba rice supplied to hospital systems and the military. There is a racket in operation to increase prices in the wake of the shortage. Traders are selling goods at ad hoc prices. Today, a kilogram was sold at 700 rupees, while 2 days ago it was sold for 400 rupees. Chili is sold for 1,120 rupees. What is the role of the hector Kobakadu?
Industries Association convened a press conference expressing concern that the VAT poses significant challenges to the sustained
increase in their electricity tariff, along with fuel prices, water tariffs and tax hikes. When the security tax was also increased, the industries collapsed. What has happened now is further burdening the already fallen industries. The president says that the local economy and the local industries must be uplifted. If that is the case, should you impose taxes on the local businesses that are trying to uplift themselves? The mega companies have no issue. However, we do have an issue. When everything we produce is subject to tax, we will also have to pass that onto the end product. Then the prices will increase. What happens then? The consumer would never approach us. When that happens, how are we to pay the taxes to the state?
Despite the potential removal of the fuel-specific port and airport development tax, the impact of a rising VAT on fuel prices remains a critical concern. Ananda Palita, spokesperson of the Samagi Joint United Trade Union Front, elaborated.
The PEL only takes the price at which the fuel arrives at the Colombo port. 7.5% will be reduced from 346, where 16 rupees will be reduced from the amount, while 18% will come instead. According to the current prices, from the 1st of January, the price of a litre of 92-octane petrol will be 372 rupees. The price formula is also applied to the amount of fuel that evaporates on the ship. And when you take the oil to the filling stations, you also pay 3% to the amount of fuel that evaporates while it's transported. Apart from that, there is a net profit of 4% after adding all the costs and distribution expenses. After adding everything, the VAT value comes, and it is from the VAT value that it rises to 372, which increases by at least 42 rupees for a litre of petrol and a litre of diesel by at least 45 rupees.
In response to the growing concerns surrounding the impact of the recent VAT hike on Sri Lankan school children, the Ceylon Teachers Union held a press conference to clarify the potential ramifications.
The people are struggling to survive. The VAT burden is on them and it impacts the 4.3 million school children in the country. Schools will reopen in February next year and students need to have their school supplies. So after the VAT is imposed, how are the people going to survive? It was said the school supplies will be exempt from VAT. Was it done? We urge that school supplies be exempt from VAT.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa expressed strong opposition to any further increase in the value-added tax as the country grapples with a crippling economic crisis.
අලුතෙන්ම එලි දක්වපු රජයේ සංඛ්‍යා ලේඛන වලින්ම කියනවා 60ක් ගෘහයන් වල ආදායම් මට්ටම අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා.
According to the government statistics, 60% of the households have experienced a reduction in their income. 90% of the households have witnessed their expenditure rise. 22% of households are battered by the economic crisis. The cost has increased. The revenue has dropped and the challenges faced in reviving education have worsened. Therefore, is placing a massive VAT on the people the only alternative? The Supreme Court had clearly said that those who led the country into bankruptcy had violated the people's fundamental rights. Those who caused this destruction will be accountable, and the present rulers cannot execute the accountability mechanism. But we will not only bring them before the law, We will also implement measures to recover the lost wealth.
රට වෙත ලබා ගන්න තිබෙන සියලුම ක්‍රියාමාර්ග අපි ලබා ගන්නවායි කියන එක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවායි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ රටේ ජනතාවට ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට කැමැතියි.
Sanjay Mahavatta, the chairman of the Mugging Ratata organization, expressed his views regarding the increase of VAT.
The people are finding it difficult. When Ranil became president, VAT was 10% and then it was 15% and now it has become 18%. The prices of goods will double in the coming days. While VAT is increased, the politicians have failed to settle their massive taxes. We have informed about that. It is unfair to increase taxes at this rate. That is our position. Distilleries Company of Sri Lanka announced that it will increase the prices of its alcoholic beverages starting from the 1st of January 2024, citing the recent revision of VAT. The price hikes will vary based on the bottle size. The price of 750 milliliter bottles will increase by 90 rupees, 375 milliliter bottles will increase by 50 rupees, while 180 milliliter bottles will increase by 20 rupees.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka released its Financial Stability Review for 2023, painting a picture of a resilient financial sector navigating a challenging economic landscape. The report, covering data up to September 2023, highlights the sector's resilience in navigating the aftermath of the economic crisis while acknowledging lingering vulnerabilities and ongoing policy efforts. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka acknowledged the significant headwinds faced by the financial sector this year due to the economic crisis. Despite these challenges, the central bank highlighted the positive outcomes of implemented measures, including interest rate stabilization. This policy approach appears to be encouraging a gradual return of credit growth within the banking system, offering a glimmer of hope for revitalization. The central bank further expressed optimism for the near future, projecting inflation to stabilize around 5% in the coming months. Additionally, successful completion of the ongoing foreign debt restructuring process is expected to serve as a significant catalyst for further solidifying the financial sector's stability. However, the path towards sustained recovery remains intricately linked to unwavering commitment to policy reform outlined in the agreement with the International Monetary Fund's Extended Fund Facility. The central bank acknowledged the challenging nature of adhering to this narrow path, but firmly emphasized the potential for irreversible consequences impacting both the financial system and the broad economy should any deviations occur.
Operation Yuka is in full swing, and during the past 24 hours, Sri Lankan authorities have seized 460 grams of heroin, 653 grams of ice, 3.6 kilograms of cannabis, a whopping 103,793 cannabis plants, 342 grams of mava or cannabis oil, and another 562 narcotic pills. Sri Lankan authorities netted a staggering 1,467 suspects during Operation Yuka, a nationwide anti-crime initiative within the past 24 hours. Among those arrested, 164 were identified as registered offenders by the Police Narcotics Bureau and the Special Bureau. 56 suspects will face further investigation under detention orders, while 51 individuals struggling with addiction have been referred to rehabilitation centers for treatment and support. In a joint operation with the Army Intelligence Division, the Mathura Crimes Division successfully raided a large-scale cannabis plantation hidden within the Udawalawe Reserve, falling under the jurisdiction of the Munaragala Hambegamo police area. Acting on intel, officers embarked on a challenging trek, navigating 16 kilometers into the dense forest, followed by an additional 2.5 kilometers on foot to reach the concealed 4.5-acre cultivation site. Upon locating the illegal plantation, the authorities swiftly destroyed the entire
entirety of the cannabis plants, dismantling the illicit operation. The evidence recovered at the scene were handed over to the Hambegamo police. In a major crackdown on drug trafficking, the Puttalam Kalpitiya police launched an investigation into the assets of a suspect apprehended 2 months ago. The probe has yielded significant results. The Illegal Assets Investigation Division confiscated a sizable cache of assets belonging to the suspect. The haul included 2 fishing boats, 2 high-powered engines, 2 Wallam devices and a van. The Puttalam police estimated the total value of the seized assets to be close to 10 million rupees. In a decisive blow to local drug trafficking operations, Mitiagoda police apprehended a suspect yesterday in the Madampe area, seizing a significant amount of illegal narcotics in the possession. A thorough examination revealed a substantial stash of drugs, including 820 milligrams of ice and 200 grams of Kerala cannabis. The estimated street value of the confiscated drugs totals a staggering 2 million rupees. The Mitiagoda police said that the suspect will be detained for further interrogation. Police nabbed a suspect in Hirana yesterday, uncovering his alleged involvement in drug trafficking activities. Police identified the suspect as a 40-year-old man with reported ties to multiple drug trafficking operations. The suspect is scheduled to appear before the Panadura Magistrates Court.
The Society of Government Pharmacists say that the former health minister should be held accountable for the recent deaths and complications reported among patients following the administration of fake and substandard medicine to them.
The NMRA board comprises of Minister Kehelia's associates. Some of those personnel continue to remain in the board. Counsel for the owner of the company in question said that they produced the medicine at the behest of Kehelia, and the health secretary also said that he worked on the directives of the health minister. So how can the minister claim that he is not connected? This was mentioned in court. It was also proved. However, when his name is mentioned, he comes forward to make statements. Documents were shredded for almost a month until late night and then sent to the municipal council. The remaining shredded documents can be found at the NMRA. However, the CID has not seized them for an inquiry. We don't know why. That pile of documents may contain the forged document. It is like a bioweapon. This can spread. There are many officers like this out in the open. Evidence can be produced. The masterminds need to be apprehended, and we firmly state that the masterminds are roaming free.
The Frontline Socialist Party announced their stance on the allegations made with regard to the supply of substandard medicines.
The main culprits here are the former Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala and the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority, Dr. Vijitha Gunasekara. Nothing has been done with regard to them. We don't even know whether the Government Analyst Department has provided a report regarding Vijitha Gunasekara's signature on the WOR for the human immunoglobulin transaction. The owner of the company related to the human immunoglobulin has given a statement saying that he acted in bad faith in this regard. He conducted this together with the former Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala. Previously, his attorney said that the main culprit is in the cabinet. The former secretary of the Health Ministry told the court that he was following orders given by the former Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala when he signed the documents. If an arrest is not being made when all the evidence is clear as day, then we have serious doubts about the conduct of the CID. The CID is more concerned with issues like who ate fruits and drank juice in Gotabaya Rajapaksa's palace. Till now, no statements have been recorded from the main culprits. We are urging them to arrest Kehelia Rambukwala.
The Frontline Socialist Party also said the legal action should be taken against all other issues in the health sector.
Human immunoglobulin විතරක් නෙවෙයි තව අපරාධ ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. ඇස්සන්ද වුණා.
This is not the only crime. There are many more. People went blind due to substandard medicine. People died because of anesthetic drugs that were of low quality. Kehelia Rambukwala should be questioned about those as well. Can Kehelia say that he cannot take responsibility and that the officials should take responsibility? When asked about the Indian factory visit, he said he will take responsibility for the quality of medicine. When people died due to substandard anesthetic drugs, he said that he will take the responsibility and that 1 in every 10,000 people would die upon administering that drug. When people went blind, he insulted them by saying that they would be compensated for their ailment. He will definitely have to shoulder this burden because he publicly said that he will take on the responsibility. Therefore, legal action should be taken against him. The whole country is aware, but the CID still remains unaware of this situation. This is a joke.
මුළු රටම දන්නවා CID එක විතරක් දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද උනේ කියලා. මේක විහිළුවක්නේ.
This is the stance of the Samagi Janabalawegaya.
සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශ වැඩේ මේ රටේ විපක්ෂය පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සටන් කරලා විශ්වාසභංග යෝජනා.
Following the no confidence motion moved by the opposition in parliament, and since there was no other alternative, the CID decided to pursue this, and we believe that when the matter is raised in court, justice will be served. We have no faith in the government. Our position is that all of those who raise their hands to defend the health minister are equally accountable for allowing the inflow of substandard medicine that resulted in patients' deaths. That entire government is accountable.
ඒ වගකීමට එදා අතෝසපු ඒ ආණ්ඩුව වග කියන්න ඕනේ.
The Sri Lankan Airlines privatization deadline has been extended once again.
The Sri Lankan government has extended the deadline for inviting proposals from investors interested in acquiring Sri Lankan Airlines, marking the second such extension since the privatization process began. KDS Ruwan Chandra, Secretary of Ministry of Ports, Naval and Aviation Services, announced that the new deadline for submitting proposals is now the 16th of February 2024. This extension comes after the previous deadline of the 8th of January, which was itself an extension from the initial 5th of December deadline. According to Ruwan Chandra, the decision to extend the deadline once again is aimed at attracting a broader pool of potential investors. The privatization of Sri Lankan Airlines is a key element of the government's economic reform plan. Sri Lankan Airlines, the national carrier of Sri Lanka, has been facing significant financial difficulties in recent years, prompting the government to explore privatization options.
Up next is the corporate brief.
Little Hearts, a fundraising project to build a cardiac and critical care complex at Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital, received a donation of 1 billion Sri Lankan rupees from businessman Nahil Vijaysurya. The donation comes through Agnes Vijaysurya Children's and Elders Home. These funds will be mainly utilized for installation of the already delayed air conditioning system at the cardiac and critical care complex at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital. With this donation, Little Hearts should be able to complete the construction before the end of 2024 to commence patient care services.
In news overseas, Maine's top election official has ruled that Donald Trump cannot run for president next year in the state.
Secretary of State Shenna Bellows said Trump was not eligible because of his actions leading up to the U.S. Capitol riot in 2021. Maine now joins Colorado as the two states to ban Trump from the ballot. The decisions increase pressure on the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in. Colorado votes reliably Democratic. However, Maine is more politically competitive and would be more significant for Trump, the Republican frontrunner, to lose. The Trump campaign has already said it will lodge an appeal in the state's courts against the Maine ruling, which won't take effect while the legal process plays out.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.